Secretary Kobach, what can you tell us about voter turnout today at the polling locations?
Well, I think it's going to be spotty throughout the state. I think you're going to see pretty high turnout in Wichita, Sedgwick County area because of the very intense congressional race down there on the Republican side, between T-Hart and Pompeo. I was at polling places in Johnson County where turnout seemed to be higher than expected. In Shawnee County, it looked like it was going to be a little lower than expected where I was, but it's always hard to predict. We'll know the answer here in just a few hours, but I do think it's going to be spotty around the state. Some will be higher than average and some will be lower.
Any particular reason for that this year?
Well, it's localized races. So if you have a really hotly contested local state representative race or a hotly contested congressional race, that will bump up turnout in that region or in that city. But we don't really have a statewide race that is really generating a huge amount of turnout. You might see that change perhaps in the gubernatorial race in November. The U.S. Senate race on the Republican side has had a lot of attention, but there hasn't been a lot of get-out-the-vote efforts by either campaigns, and that affects turnout.
Okay, and once the polls close tonight, there's a process of confirming the balance and the accuracy that's involved with that. Could you describe that process a little bit?
Yeah, the counting of the votes is done by the county election officials. So all 105 counties are right now counting the individual votes. Now, much of the counting is actually done by the machines themselves that scan the majority of Kansas counties. More than 3/4 of them have paper ballots. So these scanners are scanning the paper ballots, getting the numbers, and then each county is putting together those numbers, double checking them, and when they are confident that they have the right numbers, they send them to my office, the Secretary of State's office, and then the numbers are all added together. And so if people want to see the horse race, if you will, as it's occurring, go to the Secretary of State's website. That's sos.ks.gov, and you can see the results coming in real time. And so literally the screen, as you update your computer screen, you'll see more counties' numbers being added to the mix.
Okay, and you're in a contest tonight with Republican challenger Scott Morgan. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel pretty confident about my chances this evening. Mr. Morgan was running as a Republican, but he took a point of view that I think many Republicans might disagree with, and that is he was opposed to photo ID at the polls, and he was opposed to proof of citizenship to register. I, of course, led the charge to introduce those reforms in 2011 in Kansas. And I just think it's probably a tough load for him to carry to try to convince Republicans to oppose those positions, which not only Republicans overwhelmingly support, all Kansans, according to the polls, overwhelmingly support those two positions.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for taking your time to talk to us tonight, Mr. Secretary.
My pleasure. Great to be with you.
No problem, Sean. You have a good time. That's it.
Okay.